What is going on with Justin Fields? Where did the second pro day come from? Why did it? Was it born out of? I ask you a bunch of questions and you can go for it.
Yeah.
Was it born out of Dan Orlovsky's comments specifically? Somebody with the ESPN platform talking about his work ethic. The 49ers trading up to number 3. They'll show at Ohio State, and for Justin Fields, they'll show the Niners exactly what he can do in their system. Walk me through everything going on with Justin Fields.
No, it was born on. It was born on the Niners trade. That's what I think it was born on. Like my feeling is that this happened, and this came together, and it's not just for Justin, but it's for Trey Lance too on Monday. That part of the reason the Niners made the move that they made, and I think they're being earnest. And I'd heard this before they came out and said it. They're being earnest when they say the decision hasn't been finalized yet. They wanted a chance to see these guys live. They wanted a chance to Zoom with these guys. They wanted a chance to dig around these guys without having to sneak around to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and if you had waited until 3 days before the draft to pull off this trade, you're probably trying to hide all of your intentions, and they didn't want to do it that way. And so a big part of that is going and seeing these guys throw live. And, I think the chance to get the chance to see each of these guys throw live was important to the Niners. So they have the third pick. It's a great situation for whatever quarterback gets plugged in there. So, it would behoove the quarterbacks to give the Niners a chance to see them. And I think what's really interesting about it, I can give you this little nugget.
Please.
So the guy holding the script at Ohio State, the last pro day was John Beck, who I know you're familiar with, who's been the throwing coach for Zach Wilson and for Justin Fields through this process, works with Tom House down in Orange County. The guy holding the script this time around was Corey Dennis, who's the Ohio State quarterbacks coach. And my understanding is that script was put together with a lot of influence from NFL coaches and having talked to NFL coaches, and a lot of influence from Kyle Shanahan in particular. And there were West Coast and quick game elements baked into the script that, to those who were there, looked a whole lot like what the Niners do. So I think, for the Niners, this wasn't a private workout, but, to some degree, those aren't allowed this year, but to some degree, it had the effect of a private workout because they were getting to see a lot of the things that they would want to see if they had a quarterback in that setting.
Did they take requests like
like a jukebox?
Yeah, like a DJ. You got any requests, Kyle? You got anything on the route tree you want to see?
I'm not sure if they took requests, but I do think one thing that's sort of interesting that Justin did do. I think there were some NCAA rules about who can go run routes for him. So last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the first pro day was, they had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson running the routes for Justin.
Uh-huh.
And for one reason or another, by rule, those guys couldn't do it again. It's NCAA draft rules, whatever it is. So they had to do it with new guys this time around. So Justin was throwing to 2 freshmen this time. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba and Julian Fleming were the 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is, Justin was, as the workout was going on, coaching these guys up on routes.
I love it.
And how to run this route and how to run that route. And that was interesting to me, too, just because if you look at Kyle Shanahan's background, it's in receivers. He was a receiver at Texas, right? And so I think getting to see Justin's intricate knowledge of the way that the receiver should run routes, the way he wanted them to run routes, where Justin's head is with all of these questions that have come up on him, I think it's just sort of an interesting detail and maybe something that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch can take away from the experience.
Well, also, too, Albert Breer, is if there are questions about Justin Fields' accountability, as well as, for himself, as well as towards the team, seeing something like that has got to be a plus.
Yeah.
What is let's drill down deep. What is the true evaluation of Justin Fields on this front, since that has been quite a bit based on a couple of comments from the ESPN family of evaluators and information folk. What is the deal with Justin Fields?
So, first of all, I really like Dan Orlovsky. I think he's a great dude and he does a great job. I think assigning blame here is tough. I think kind of what Dan was getting at, those questions did exist. I'd say at least a month or two ago. And I got them, and probably got them in the same manner that maybe Dan got them. I don't think work ethic's ever been a question with Justin. Where I do think the question is going into him making the transition from being a collegian to being a pro is how he's going to allocate his hours. And Justin, if you look at him, you can see he works in the weight room, right? Like that's never been a problem. And the field work, like I've heard from guys in that program that, you could come in at 7 a.m. and there's Justin throwing to Olave and Wilson, getting extra work in. Like, so I think the thing with Justin's going to be, like, how does he allocate his hours as a pro and reallocating some of those hours into the classroom to get better in that area? Because, honestly, if you look at the flaws and, like, the couple bumps that he had at Ohio State, and I think sometimes we overplay those a little bit, but a lot of them related to him playing hero ball a little bit too much because he's always been so physically dominant that he could always kind of lean back on his physical ability and be able to pull his team out of tough spots that way. And so I think for Justin, it's going to be, how do I allocate my hours as a pro? And I think he played in I know he played in a pro-style offense at Ohio State. It's just going to be about making progress in that area and maybe putting more hours in the classroom. And not that you have to take away from anything else because you're going to have more time as a pro than you had as a college player, but just being smart about the way that you do that.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.